Williamsburg and what the Indians went through, how the English shot all the Indians, just killed them. Very colorful. This is the second time we went. These are the, what is that park? Hyde Park? It might have been Hyde Park. English gardens are famous throughout the world. They've got them in Germany even. It's not a formal garden as the French are. Okay, there's Buckingham Palace, and there's Margie helping her daddy with that title. I have to see what it says on the big screen. It's too small here. I'm shooting this into a mirror, making these copies. There's Queen Victoria's statue in front of Buckingham Palace. That's where we used to stand, get a good view of the changing of the guard in Buckingham Palace. That's probably what we're getting ready to do, Adrie. Is that you walking right there? There's the top of the statue, gold. It's probably 24 karat gold gilded. Queen Victoria lived to be in her 90s, reigned for 75 years. Can you imagine being a queen for 75 years, Tommy? You've only been a king for about... You married 2 years yet? You got a beautiful, wonderful wife, Tom. Take good care of her. I know you're taking good care of Buster, both of you. There's the Queen holding one of her servants in her paw. Statue to the workers. And that's inside the gate, one of the guards walking his post. You must have gone to London before you went to Arizona, and I met up with you there. These were some army guards changing the guard or parade inside the grounds of Buckingham Palace. Formal parade. What do you think of that, Nikki? Your daddy used to march like that when he was in the Navy, I think. You learn how to do that, Gary? A little mutt. I'm working with a guy who told me yesterday that he has a giant schnauzer. Couldn't remember the name of Stuart's dog for a while till it occurred to me. Do you remember what the name of the giant schnauzer was, Adrie? The giant schnauzer that Stuart and Joni had in Germany? Thought about it a day later. It came to me. That's right, it was Dryden. You're right. Adrie, you've got a wonderful memory. Excellent. There's Piccadilly Circus. We used to stay at the Regent Palace Hotel, and there is Piccadilly Circus sign. There's the arrow statue right in Piccadilly. Margie and Daddy and Tommy holding the Hyde Park Speaker's Corner sign. Oh, and there's an Indian guy from India. There she is. That's Sally Price and her husband, and Adrie jumping up and down with her famous red coat. Our 747. I don't think we took that back to Stuttgart, but 747s were fairly new and still in 72. I took the number 2 747 flight in the world, guys. I took on the first trip I ever made to Europe. Didn't even know we'd be living there. It was 1969. I flew from Boca Raton up to New York, and we caught a Pan Am flight to London. Had a business meeting in London for a few days, and it was the second 747 flight ever. Pan Am received the first 4 or 5 747s, and I flew with a couple other IBMers to London and then over to Germany for a 4 or 5 day business meeting. And that's the end of this reel. Talk to you later, guys. And these are some of the bays Beautiful mountains. Ice flowing down to the bay from the glaciers scrape down the mountainside, take half the mountain with it, and then form icebergs. They break off in the ocean and cause all that damage to shipping. Not so much anymore. This is landing in Chicago. I went to see Terry Lautenbach, who's now the president of the U.S. company, for an interview in Chicago, and had lunch with one of the IBMers working in the branch office that day, and he said, let me understand, you're saying that you'd rather come to Chicago than go to Paris. Here's TreeHaven. So we went to Paris. TreeHaven, and I think this was backwards day. If you look closely, the kids are wearing their clothes backwards. And I think this was the day I arrived. Everything is on backwards. If that makes any difference or not. I'm turning the light on so I can read the paper, the notes I've got. Yeah, Mike's got his shirt on backwards. Shouldn't make any difference, I think, right? They're the beautiful Tucson mountains. I used to say that to Grampy every day. I love these mountains, and he used to say, "You're nuts, you're nuts." Margie at the fountain. Hi, Daddy. Hi, Margie. Oh, she's a happy kid. Oh, these are great scenes. These are just super scenes of kids on the horses. Let's make sure it's in focus here. Is that in focus? I can't tell. Tell you, it's hell when you get old, Tommy. I can't even see if it's in focus without my glasses on. I got to get up real close to this little screen that I'm using to copy the film into the video camera, the mirror. Here comes Keithy on a horse. Giddy up, Keith. Come on, boy. Yeah, come on. All right, horsey. Go. Get him. Should I get some sound effects going here? See if this works. There goes Tommy. Probably going to break your ears off. Doing good, Tommy. Yeah, he's got his whip out. Getting that horse going real good. Boom. You guys are great. This was, of course, in Tucson. We stayed in Max and Leona's house in Tucson. The kids went TreeHaven every day. Had a wonderful time. Who was it? Who was the famous movie star was there at the same time you guys were? Ryan O'Neal and his daughter Tatum. Tatum O'Neal was one of the campers when the kids were going there. You can tell all your friends, you went to camp with Tatum O'Neal. Yeah. Mike is really hustling his horse around those stakes. He thought he had won by a long shot. And I think there was some politics, Mike. My estimation was you had won by several seconds, but I think the camp had some favorites. Keithy was good, too, going around the slalom. Tommy did an excellent job on that beautiful white Silver. Giddy up! Come on, Silver, get him up, scope. The Lone Ranger's on the air. Tonto lost his underwear. Tonto say, me no care. Lone Ranger, buy me another pair. And there goes Caryn. She might have been the best horse person of all. She really had a good control over that horse. Caryn, I don't know if you're still doing horseback riding, but you had a real feel for horses. I think they liked you also. Very gentle. Well, you did a good job, Mike and Tom, and I think Margie was too young to ride a horse that year. I think she rode him the next year. Didn't they go back to camp one more year? Max picked up the tab. Mike is really going. You are hustling good, Michael. That is an excellent ride. Look at that horse go. It's a little more difficult slalom there. Mountains in the background. That was Carey's head that popped up. Look at his hair blowing back. There was an Air Force base, not too far from Tucson. There's the Max. Look at how thin he was and young. Well, this was before Burke's came to Germany.